Well, this could be you, not this necessarily, but any of these images I'm showing you tonight will be self-portraits. And I know a lot of you really, really want to paint portraits and are enthused about it. And I have told you, I believe, many times that the way that I learned to paint portraits is by doing self-portraits. And some people just cringe at the thought of that, but you have to get over it. You have to objectively do it from a mirror, not from a photograph. And you can do it in class, you can do it on your own. But I literally did dozens of them in grad school. And I was very intent about it. I was going to learn to do things like so. I would look really, really closely at my eye and just study it and sometimes do separate studies of an eye to learn just what's going on in there. And the same thing with the nose and the entire face. So it took some very concentrated study. Um, but it's what you have to do something like that if you really want to paint portraits. So what even perhaps was just as important was studying other portraits, including self-portraits by other artists through history. So we're going to take a look at a few of them tonight. This is a woman. I can't even pronounce the name, honestly. You do have the names in the email, but this is from about 1560. And you'll see this a lot where artists will paint not just their portrait, but paint themselves painting their portrait. And it's just an incredible painting, I think. And this is a pretty big jump forward to painting by a contemporary artist, Alice Neel. This is from about 1980. So we see a really big contrast here between a traditional self-portrait and a much more adventurous portrait. I think she died recently, but she was quite elderly. And I never really was big on Alice Neel. I wanted to show you this one, but a lot of people that I worked with, studied with, were big on Alice Neel. But you should know her work. You should look it up, and it might become important for you. She was, of course, friends with none other than Andy Warhol. She did this is Andy Warhol's self-portrait from 1972, I think it is. And Alice Neel did paint Andy Warhol. He sat for her. Of course, he had many celebrities sing for him. And this is one of his self-portraits, which I think is just a striking, very striking image. But now I know, probably most of you are not fans of either Alice Neel or Andy Warhol. So we're going to jump ahead into things I think you'll really love. Degas, self-portrait from 1855. And what's not to like about this? It's just a mood. There's kind of a melancholy about it. And it's just a very striking study of his own face. And Degas, actually, he produced over 40 self-portraits in his lifetime in various media. I don't know what all the media were, but probably some were monotype. So this is an oil painting. And remember, they're looking in a mirror to do this, especially at this time. And we got to take a look at Paul Cézanne, too. His self-portrait from 1880. It's a drawing, 9 by 5 inches. And he drew himself a lot. I was surprised at how many I found. And we see here his characteristic energetic mark making, very energetic mark making, and somewhat distorted forms. And Cézanne really was important in paving the way for modernism in 20th century art. Now I'm going to show you a couple of my two favorite artists that I'm going to convince you to love by the time we're done.
Mhm.
Not tonight, maybe, but by the time we're done at Paint Creek. So I talked about Bonnard, right?
Mhm.
This is a Bonnard self-portrait. We looked at this a lot. When I say we, I'm usually referring to my fellow students in grad school in Iowa. And Bonnard was a big deal. We talked about Bonnard a lot, mostly for color. But I just think this is a very arresting, youthful portrait of Bonnard. And the other one, who's the other one that I mentioned a lot, along with Bonnard? Starts with a V.
Vuillard,
VR, yeah. Good. Who said that?
Andra.
Oh, all right, good.
Mhm.
And this is the VR. I think that's how you pronounce it. Really striking, isn't it? The bat with the backlighting. Remember we talked about lighting last week, and backlighting was one of the things. But try, again, I'm showing you these things, hoping that you'll try them. Even if don't want to become a portrait painter, every great artist, even just in practically every serious artist, did at least one self-portrait. And he's adventurous with the backlighting. That's always a challenging thing, but he really pulled it off here. Now, here is the Morandi self-portrait. And I probably haven't convinced very many of you yet to love Morandi like I do. And
I do.
who does?
Andra.
Andra does, I know. And she's getting a lot from it. But he's known for all those bottles and everything. A lot of people just don't get that. But look at when he wanted to just paint a portrait. Look at how good he was. Showing himself at the easel with the palette, beautiful restricted palette, mostly value, muted color. Just look at the palette, just a little bit of the colors that you see in the painting. That's about it. If not the Zorn palette, it was pretty close to it. I love this one. I haven't seen it in a long time. And this is someone I discovered. I don't really know anything about her, but I just came across it when I was putting this together, and I just love this image from 1940. It's a detail of the painting. Alma Duncan, self-portrait with braids. So it's a picture of her, painting of her, but look at the interest going on with the angles, the different angles coming from the easel and the palette and other places that make it a dynamic composition. So a self-portrait could be merely just a study of your face, but it could also be an entire statement as a composition. And here's another artist that you may have heard me mention. I'm going to keep talking about him until you like him. Okay. It is Fairfield Porter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And a close-up self-portrait. This is kind of what I did. I would get really close up at the mirror. I would usually do the whole head, but it was tightly cropped so I could really look at the features. Like I was determined to learn how to paint an eye and how to paint a mouth and get competent at it. So this is what you have to do.
That's very well done. I like that.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you like it. A muted palette and closely, very harmonious color and very active brushwork. This is a self-portrait from 1972, and it's a prime example of contemporary realism. That's why we liked him so much. He was a very contemporary painter, but he was a realist also. So Porter's works were grounded in the real world, in contrast to the abstract painting that was very dominant during this time period. And it says here, from my notes, his style draws influences from, guess who? Bonnard and Voulard. Here's another self-portrait by Fairfield Porter in the studio, 1968. He was passionate about Voulard in particular. You can see why he like Voulard. Porter simplifies a very complex scene, succinctly stating the structural breaks between light and dark. You see that in his face and in his shirt and in his legs. Strong contrast between the light side and the dark side. And he found a kind of poetry just in the arrangement of the forms. That was so much about what contemporary realism was about at this time. It wasn't just trying to make it look as real as you could. It was looking at the real world and composing a poem with it. And this is just a beautiful, I don't know anything about this artist, Ellen Eagle from 2006. It's called Winter. This is a pastel. I just discovered this self-portrait by an artist named Joe Peller called Day's End from 2003. It's big, it's 72 by 44 inches. So that's getting close to life size.
That would explain the size of the brushes in his hand.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's a good point. You can buy those brushes with extra large handles. I've never done that, but it's
Well, he's clearly working on a big one behind him there.
yeah, a really big one. But obviously he's a very accomplished realist painter, right? Good composition, beautiful light and color.
Mm.
Another guy, Virgil Elliott, never heard of, but it's a self-portrait with two mirrors. I'm not sure where the second one is, but often we can look at our profile view when we have two mirrors. So I imagine that's how he got the profile.
It's probably in the plane of the paint, the canvas. It's where the canvas is.
Oh, okay. This is just a little, I'm not smart enough to figure this out.
I mean, see,
Wouldn't it be where our view is?
yeah, that's what I mean. That's
Oh.
what I'm trying to say. It's where our view.
All right. Okay. All right.
It's like we're looking through through a two-way mirror.
All right. And then he's using the hand mirror to look at detail, I imagine. But you can just, we have those little angled mirrors at Paint Creek that can be a little distorted, but they work fine if you want to do a self-portrait, or just get a handheld mirror like this.
Mm.
And there are a lot of ways to approach it simply in class. And I think this is a pretty beautiful painting of the artist in the studio. This is an artist, again, I'd never heard of her, Mary Beth McKenzie. It's called Self-Portrait with Matisse Print. So artists in their studios, they always have prints or little reproductions of artists that they admire to have in front of them at all times. And she has this print of a Matisse painting. I recognize the painting. I don't know what it's called, but and this work by Mary Beth McKenzie that you're looking at now was bought by MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
Oh.
It's in their permanent collection, so she's important. And here's one more by her, a self-portrait with two masks. I don't know what's going on with her face, if it's complexion or issue or just
Rosacea.
it's what?
It could be rosacea, where you have rosy cheeks.
It looks like gash marks, though, doesn't it?
A little bit, but it's just like if it is that, you just get random red on your face.
It could be paint too.
Mhm.
True.
But interesting painter, and I only have a few more here. But this artist, I have known nothing about her. I cannot pronounce her name, but I just came across it, and I found it very, very striking. Self-portrait at the dressing table from 1909. And I found an interesting comment on it. It says that this painting catapulted her into the public eye in 1909 because it was first shown at the prestigious Union of Russian Artists in St. Petersburg.
Mhm.
And it was immediately purchased by a important gallery in Moscow, where it remains to this day. And I don't know why it would still be in the gallery, but however, critical praise in the media of this portrait at the time was condescending. And another portrait painter called it a very cute and fresh thing. Now, I don't feel that way about it. I guess the criticism is that it was kind of, when they say cute, just kind of trite and easy to digest. But I love it. I just love it.
I would have never
Charles-
guessed that to be a Russian painter. That does not look like Russian work to me at all.
Well,
Yeah.
from that time, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. that's
Charles,
awesome.
I think the year 1909 also explains some of the attitude toward it,
Mhm.
since she was a female artist.
Yeah, well, that could be it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Russia, in Europe in general.
Yeah. Well, 1909 was before the revolution too, and before
Yep.
the big changes that came into modern art in Europe,
Mhm.
which were suppressed in the Soviet Union. And how about this one?
Goodness.
I know I'm showing you this because we could take a lot of liberties with our art. This might not be for everybody, but it's called Portrait of a Parasomniac. What's a parasomniac?
I don't know.
Looked it up.
Mhm.
By an artist I'd never heard of, from 2007 as a pastel. But painting someone on their deathbed or in the hospital, that's an approach to art that Manet painted himself in his deathbed, and it's an approach that we've seen in portrait painting. And I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's interesting how all that white tubing kind of becomes part of the pinstriping on his pajamas, isn't it?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, it's also interesting that the background seems unfinished,
Yeah.
like it's sketched in, but
I wonder here, it says parasomnias are disruptive behaviors or events that affect your sleep. You might walk, talk, or make physical movements to act out your dream. So maybe this is part of a dream.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Certainly doesn't look very happy.
No, that's true.
Okay, so I'm gonna just show you some normal ones now, kind of normal, but this guy's very well known, David John Cassan, portrait painter. Christina, are you familiar with his work?
I sure am. I follow him on YouTube.
Yeah, and he often does workshops at the Portrait Society every meeting every year. And it's a beautiful painting. I'd like to hear more opinions from you, whether you like these or not. But
I am struck by the treatment of shadows, both on the background behind him and under his chin and all that. That they become very, very dominant in the painting.
yeah,
I like the way it's rendered, the whole tonal look and everything
Yeah,
against the flesh tone, but it's
Yeah.
kind of disturbing that it looks like he's been through something really traumatic.
I agree. The downcast eyes and the,
Yeah.
yeah, it has something of that in it, definitely. One thing I noticed is that if you look at the buttons, they get gradually darker as you go down the shirt, which
Mm.
the light would explain, but it's just an interesting element. But yeah, he's one of the big portrait painters out there right now. If you're interested in portrait painting, you should know about him. And here's another guy that's kind of big, Ephraim Rubinstein, 1970s.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah,
I like how your eyes are kind of drawn up towards the face.
yeah.
But once you get there, he looks kind of sour.
Yeah. Well, someone said about self-portraits a while back, I read this in a review, that they just look dour.
Mhm.
Except
Very
for that
off.
Russian girl with brushing her hair.
She
Doesn't look
didn't
dour
know.
at all.
But many of them do. Why do you think that would be if you're painting it from life?
You're concentrating on it too much.
Concentrating, and it's pretty boring to sit there and stare at yourself for,
Yeah, right.
I spent like a long time on a lot of mine in college, and
It's pretty
Just
hard
kinda-
to hold a natural. You can't naturally hold a smile or any sort of facial expression
yeah, you're
for a
right.
for a very long time. If you're trying to get the details and capture that moment, it's
Yeah,
very difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna be your resting face.
Right.
It's not gonna be animated in any way. You can't keep reposing every time you look in the mirror.
Yeah, because everyone will be slightly different.
There's
Yeah.
There's something about this portrait that's disturbing to me, and I think it's the proportion of the width of his shoulders with regard to his head and neck.
Hmm.
And it almost feels like almost like out of body, like that head and neck don't belong to this body or something. There's just something that's disturbing me about it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. The outer coat that he has on is like way oversized and very heavy.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure he's wearing the coat. I think the coat is just draped over his shoulders.
Well, yes, I think that too is what. Yeah, it's his
Oh.
arms are not through the sleeves.
Right.
To me, it looks like there's a wildness or being caged in because you look on the bottom of the coat, there's like all those lines. And then on the back, you see kind of some blue, maybe like freedom or something. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like he's emerging from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here's one by again a striking, really strong portrait, I think. Self-portrait. I never heard of the artist. His name is Stanley Rayfield.
Is this recent or an older one?
I don't have a date. I couldn't get any
Okay.
any
I
inform-
mean,
I think it's recent though. That's my impression.
I like it actually.
The vanishing edges in so many places,
Mhm.
I think, make it really striking.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the contrast.
And a real nice play on shadows in it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and a play on edges. The hairstyle, doesn't that look kind of like I'm thinking of John Travolta or something?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's just a really beautiful self-portrait.
We talked about shadows and stuff, but when you look at the his I'm assuming it's his right eye unless it's a mirror image, but anyway, the one we see on the left, the shadow there is really talk about vanishing edges. You don't normally think of vanishing edges in an eye portrait,
Mhm.
but there it is.
Yeah, that does lend something to. It's almost like a spookiness about the portrait.
Yeah, it's really well drawn or
It is.
painted and drawn. I mean, it's not very nice.
It is, certainly is, yeah. And so many of these, not all, of course, but many of them have a very limited palette.
Mhm.
You know, this one.
Yeah.
This one,
Right.
no, but this one definitely. Okay, here again, I just really thought this was beautifully rendered. It says self-portrait, but actually, it's his name is definitely a Greek name, Costa Vavagakios or something. So I don't
You're almost
know.
getting the same play with the shadows and the light. Only his is on the other side, but you can see that, you know, a lot much
Yeah.
brighter on the left side, and how his eye is more diminished. on
Yeah, the shadow side of the face is
Yeah.
treated that way in so many of these. But I just thought it was very beautifully painted.
Yeah.
Oh, this is, I might have gotten a couple of these mixed up, but I think this is the Costa Vavakias from 1994, self-portrait. And again, this is the one where, like one of the previous ones, this is what I used to do. I mean, I did a lot of self-portraits. They weren't all, I didn't do it this way every time, but get really, really close so you could really look at like how an eyebrow, there's a difference, they're not perfectly symmetrical. What happens right at the keystone area where the bridge of the nose meets the forehead. There's always like a soft shadow in that area. And the bump in the nose that has so much to do with likeness. There's always that bump, but it's a very subtle contour, and the highlight follows it. You know, we see it clearly on the shadow side, but the highlight follows that bump. And it's where there's a little bit of bone that comes down from the top of the nose, and it meets cartilage. And then that's why the nose is kind of flexible. And then where it meets, it kind of swells out, and that's why we see that bump. But something to really observe when you are doing a portrait. And this one I couldn't resist. Self-portrait as Medusa by Anthony Panzera.
I like the snake body into the head.
Oh yeah, that is weird, isn't it? Jeez. Drawing. Another very strange one that I cannot figure out. But it is one painting, and it's called Nocturnal Reflections by Harvey Ditterstein. He's a pretty well-known realist painter. I can't tell what's going on, if it's a mirror or what.
It almost looks like a reflection off of a sheet of glass there.
Yeah.
On the right side.
But it's
I was
not
thinking
a direct-
elevator.
Oh, and yeah, getting off an elevator. Yeah.
It's not a direct reflection of what we're seeing. I mean, it's not like if there was a reflective surface on his side there, because it's actually, if it were, we'd be seeing a much more highlights in the reflected image.
Right, right.
Yeah, right. It seems incongruous.
Or if it's just a painting.
It's what?
I wonder if it's just a painting that he's showing of himself. You know what I mean? From the side, like an extreme side view of a self-portrait that he was working on.
Oh, I see. Yeah, right.
I was thinking that too, possibly. Like the wider white strip would be the wider edge of the canvas or something. But I don't know. It's very confusing.
It is.
And in most of these, the artists did not, many of them at least, did not really try to flatter themselves, did they?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, he looks like he hasn't had a good night's sleep in quite a while. But okay, I only got a couple more. So I really like this one. This Barclay L. Hendricks is the artist. It's called Lottie Mama from 1969. The hairstyle gives it away. The day.
Oh, yeah.
Just lovely gold leaf background and simple design, really good drawing. It's really nice. This is Burton Silverman. This is called Survivor by Burton Silverman. He's a big name in, I think, portrait painting as well as just realist figurative painting. Very photorealist.
Probably just need to cook hamburgers whenever you're done there.
All right. Well, I can get out right now if you want me to.
Oh. And it's kind of strange. It's like a double exposure of a film is what the feeling it has.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, you know, most of us that were that age don't really want to paint ourselves with our shirt off, but he did, and I applaud him for that.
It's almost as though he's standing in front of his glass storm door.
Mhm.
And so you're seeing a little bit into the house and a wall in the distance, but then the rest of it is more like the reflection of him.
Yeah,
Yeah, really interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Okay, you ready for this? I promised I would show you a couple of mine. So
Mhm.
this is from around 2010, I think. Oil on linen panel.
Really nice.
Very nice.
Why do you think he wasn't smiling?
He was concentrating on his painting.
Yeah, I don't know what what they say really about portrait painting is that smiling, any kind of a strong expression, like a big smile even, is very tiring on the eye to the viewer over time.
Mhm.
Now, this goes kind of in another direction where there's like a worried look almost. And I wasn't thinking that at all. And it was a long time ago, but this one I like better actually. Self-portrait in pen and ink from about 2005.
Cool.
And another practice that I still do almost every single day is make a little drawing, often with pen and ink or ballpoint pen on index cards, so you can't erase it or anything. And if you do that, I guarantee you, your drawing skills will improve. And the people who are doing the drawing a day or painting a day, I think you're seeing improvement in their work. We're done.
Yay. I love this one.
Yeah. Cute.
Yeah.
The